Dust is the third and final book in the Wool trilogy written by Hugh Howey. If you don't know anything about this series, you should. You should go out of your house, go to your local bookstore, your local library, buy it online, go to an overpriced gas station that happens to have it on some random Tuesday and get it. Check it out. You're going to want to check it out anyways because they have obtained movie rights for this trilogy. It's going to be helmed none other by Ridley Scott. Funny thing is, when I read the series, I was thinking if this was ever made into a movie, the only person who I think could do it would be Ridley Scott. So check it out if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, you shouldn't be watching this review at all because this is the third book that I'm reviewing. That means I'm going to spoil the first and second book. I'll try my best not to, but you can't get to the third part without getting from parts A to B. So, to understand Dust, you have to understand the world of Wool. Wool is a post-apocalyptic dystopian book, somewhat kind of like how a bunch of young adult books are nowadays, except this is more highbrow, this is more adult, this is more serious, they're longer books. Basically, what young adult, dystopian, post-apocalyptic TV shows, books, and movies strive to be is Wool. That's what Wool is. So that's the kind of world you're in, but to understand a little bit more, there's survivors in a world that all live underground in a giant underground silo. Each silo level is a different thing, like crops, like residents, like jobs, and whatever, each one. And the bottom is mechanical. It's ginormous. It's hundreds and hundreds of levels deep. They can't go outside because the outside world is a desolate, toxic wasteland. You walk out there, you die. And throughout the first and second book, you get a little bit more background as to why the world is like that, what they're planning to do from that point to plan any kind of life in the future. There's still corruption. There's still corruption in the government, where they're still trying to control people. There's just no escaping it. Dust, in particular, just kind of brings everything to a close. And in the story, the main character, Juliet, at least one of the main characters, there's so many to choose from, but Juliet's usually considered the main character, is trying to dig a hole. On the bottom level of the silo, she is trying to dig a hole through the silo to reach another silo out in the barren wasteland. She's doing this because in the first book she actually escaped from her home, Silo 18. She went to Silo 17. To avoid going outside and doing that again, risking her life, she's decided to burrow through from one silo to another. And that's gaining some unwanted promotion. I don't know. She's kind of seen as a legend because anybody that walks outside of the silo dies. That's how history has always gone. You walk outside, you die. But she came back, so she's kind of like this living legend, almost like a savior of sorts. People don't know if they should trust her, if she's crazy, but they know one thing. She went outside, she should have died, and she came back, and that's gotten people all sorts of anxious. And they want to know why she's digging down there, and if she's just completely lost her mind because she went out into the toxic world, or if she's onto something, if she's right when she says there's other silos in the world. Her digging also gets the attention of Silo 1, the one that controls all the rest. It's not good. It's hard to explain the plot to you because so much of it is too important. The more I talk about it, the more I will spoil you. It's just every chapter is a little insane. What I did want to talk about is how it's written. This book, or actually this entire series from the get-go, has a way of being unpredictable. Even after the unpredictable events occur, you still have no idea what they're going to do from that point on. You can make guesses all you want, but most of the time you're going to be wrong. That's exactly how this book plays out, and actually it's my favorite of the trilogy because it winds everything up, it comes to a close, it comes to a head, it's just nerve-wracking, most amazing of ways. When it comes down to my favorites of the series, this has to be my number one favorite, Wool has to be my second, Shift has to be my third and least favorite, but they're all pretty darn good. The only reason why Shift is my least favorite is because it's more or less a behind-the-scenes look book as to what was going on during Wool. And then Dust just completes everything, makes it come full circle. I remember it took me a little bit longer to finish Wool and Shift, and they're all about the same length, but for some reason or other, Dust kept me pulled in. I kept reading until basically I was done. I read until it was midnight most nights. What you should understand is that this entire series is epic. Do me a favor, think of your favorite movie series that's based off of books. You got The Lord of the Rings, you got The Hobbit, Hunger Games, Divergent, Harry Potter. The list goes on and on. And what you'll notice with those movies are that they're all epic. They just lure you in really well, and that's exactly what Wool does. So I'm glad they're making it into a movie. I'm not sure how they're going to pull it off. It's too early to tell, but I am glad that they're making it. It does fit with all the rest of those epic stories. This is a series that is unique, well written, extremely well detailed. The visuals that it brings to your mind are incredible. The cast of characters are huge. There's no real main character, but you will have a favorite when you read it. Juliet seems to be the one that's considered the main because she's in like all the books. But the other important ones like Donald and Lucas and Charlotte and Elise and Solo and Bernard and the list goes on and on and on, and they're so unique of characters. They are all built really, really well, and that's hard to do for one character, let alone this entire expansive universe that Hugh Howey has written. I gave Dust 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. You can check out my profile in the description below. What I like to do is I like to update my reading progress on there, review it on here. Check it out. Check it out. Read the entire series from beginning to end. Not kidding. Do it. Or else. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. If you have time, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. If you think there's a book I might enjoy or a book you might want me to review, put it down in the comments. I'll take a look at it, I'll consider it, and I'll see you next week. And remember, if you're bored, read something.
Poopy-doo.